Welcome to WebStylePress. If you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing and hit bell icon for updates. Consider these file names: custom.css, this is a CSS file, and custom.min.css, this is minified version of this custom.css file, and this would be the custom.js file, JavaScript file, and this custom.min.js would be the minified version of this custom.js file. So these are minified files. If you have these files, if you have two versions of CSS file, and if you have two versions of JavaScript file, one being a minified version of its counterpart, which file should you use and when? So this is a library, Bootstrap, Twitter Bootstrap, CSS framework, and then this is jQuery, and this is Slick Slider, and we've got the cdnjs.com, and from here you can search for libraries. You can link several libraries and plugins directly from the cdnjs.com website without placing their files in your project. You can directly use their paths provided by cdnjs.com. So there are several ways you can link libraries and plugins in your project. So take example of jQuery and plugins built on top of jQuery. Every regular small scale website needs jQuery. jQuery is a JavaScript library. You can download its regular version or minified version. You don't change jQuery or such libraries ever. You just place it in your project and use it. For such packages, we use their minified version. Now there are other packages and plugins on top of jQuery, and jQuery is needed as a dependency to run such plugins. So this is jQuery, and you can just click at this download jQuery link, and it will present you with some options to download. This is download the compressed production jQuery. This is the minified version, and you can also download the uncompressed development jQuery. This is not compressed. So if I open it in new tab, this is uncompressed regular version of jQuery. As you can see, there are spaces in this document and there are comments in this document. This is regular version of jQuery. Huge file. But if you check this compressed version of the same jQuery, you can't see comments here, just this comment. You won't find comments in the code, and also there are no spaces, and it will be significantly smaller in size as well. So this is the compressed version of this same jQuery, minified version that has got the .min in the name of the file. Also, you can go to the Bootstrap and click at download, and then you can download this whole package. And after you expand that package, you'll be presented with two folders, CSS folder and JavaScript folders. There will be several files inside these folders, and you will be able to see minified version of files and a regular version of same file. So this is bootstrap.css with spaces. You can understand this file easily. And this is the bootstrap.min.css. Same file, but without spaces and without comments. Considerably less in size. So this is CSS. Also, this bootstrap has got this bootstrap.js JavaScript file and bootstrap.min.js. Bootstrap.js is this file with a lot of comments, with a lot of spaces. And this is bootstrap.min.js without comments except just this comment and without spaces. So I was saying that there are other packages and plugins on top of jQuery. jQuery is needed by Twitter Bootstraps, JavaScript components, Select Slider, and such libraries and plugins. Download jQuery, Twitter Bootstrap, Select Slider, or such plugins, and you will find minified versions of files bundled with these packages along with regular files. We are looking into minified versions of CSS and JavaScript files. So the question is, what are minified files? Why we use these, and when should we use these? Should we link regular file in our project, or should we use minified version of files in our project? What is the difference between the regular JS, CSS files and minified versions of these files? Minified files have .min in the file names. This is not mandatory, but it's a custom to use .min in the name to just visually identify the file. .min.css and .min.js files are the minified files that are compressed version of original styles and JavaScript files. Minified file is output file and not the source file. Every popular library or framework offers minified files of styles and JavaScript. Minified files are compressed version of files, less in size than their original counterpart, and they load quickly in the web browser. In minification process of JS, CSS, and HTML files, comments and extra spaces are removed. Variable names are changed to minimize the code and reduce file size. The minified file version provides the same functionality while reducing the bandwidth of network requests. You can use original versions of files in development environment and minified versions of files in production environment. When you are developing your website, use original versions of files, and when you are done with your website, create minified versions of your JavaScript files and style files and link those in your web pages. You can also automate this task. For example, several softwares can do this, and your favorite code editor can also generate minified version of files whenever you save your code. I have got this index.html page, and I am creating a new HTML document. This is my HTML document. And you can see I have linked Twitter Bootstrap, CSS, minified version. And I have linked Font Awesome's minified CSS version. And here is my custom.css. I have not used custom.min.css. But instead, this is my CSS file. I will change this. I will not need to change these files. These are source files. These are libraries. This bootstrap and this font awesome, these are libraries. I won't change these, but I will work in my own CSS file. So this is not minified. However, when I will be done with my work, I can convert this custom.css file into into its minified version and then link that file here. Like this. And also here is the jQuery at the end of page before closing body tag. First in scripts we use jQuery. Again, I have used CDN. I have used link from CDN.js. I have directly linked it, and I have linked its minified version. And this is Twitter Bootstrap's JavaScript file and its minified version. And here again, my custom.js scripts file that is not minified. But we are not using custom.js in this project, so I will delete that. So we can link these files directly from CDN, and we can link their minified versions safely. We won't be changing these files. We just need these in our project. So if the files are the files that we are working on in our project, use the regular version like this custom.css, and when you are done, convert it to custom.min.css and link with it. So I have got this custom.scss file, this is Sass file, and this is test.css. I am going to throw some CSS code here. So this is some CSS code. Okay, and I will just save this file custom.scss. Nothing happened yet. As you can see, I've got this watch Sass button here. If I press this, then it will compile this Sass file, and now it will watch this Sass file. Now if I will save, you can see this success message, and as you can see, these files were thrown here. This custom.css and then custom.css.map, custom.min.css, custom.min.css.map. I'm using an extension in Visual Studio Code that converted this Sass file on save into all of these files. So whenever I will save this custom.scss file, I will get several outputs for this file. So I cannot use this .scss file in my project here. HTML document does not know what is Sass file or .scss file. I will be using CSS file here. So I am using an extension to convert this custom.scss file on save, and this gives me custom.css file. This is the output for this custom.css file, and I can link this CSS file here. And not just this CSS file, I have got this custom.min.css as well. I can even link this file instead of this custom.css straight away. So this is fine too. So from your Visual Studio Code, click at this icon, that is extensions icon, and you can search Minify. Number one, you can search Minify extension here. Install this Minify extension, and then you can search Sass, and it will give you this live Sass compiler that we are using, this one that watches this Sass file, live Sass compiler. So for this Sass file, extension can convert it into custom.css and custom.min.css. But if you have got this CSS file, let's say if I have got this CSS file, I am pasting it here. If I want to create minified version of this file, what would I do? So here we will use Minify extension of Visual Studio Code. I will press F1 and then I will press Minify. And as you can see, this test.min.css was thrown here. And this is the minified version of this test.css file. So you can work with CSS files and you can create their minified versions right from your code editor. But this process is manual. In case of .css file, this Sass file is being watched and it will throw custom.css and custom.min.css at every file save. Although you can also automate that Minify extension to give you minified version automatically on save. Here are its settings. You can use these custom settings according to your needs. And also if I have got a custom.js file for my JavaScript code, I am throwing some JavaScript code here. I don't need this. So this is some JavaScript code. I will save it. I will again repeat that process. Press F1, minify, and as you can see, this custom.min.js was generated. And if you see this is the minified code. So this is my file with the regular JavaScript code, and this is its minified version. And I can show you also that if you go to any library and you see that this is the bootstrap.css, you can see its size, it's 195 KB, and this bootstrap.min.css is 157 KB. So this is less in size. Minified version of a CSS or JavaScript file is less in size and without comments and without spaces. Also this JS folder, this is bootstrap.js, that is 141 KB, and this is bootstrap min.js, that is only 62 kilobytes. So these are the main differences in the regular files and minified versions of those files. And I have already mentioned, if you are linking external libraries like Bootstrap, like Font Awesome, like jQuery, like Twitter Bootstrap, you can safely use their minified versions. You can link to their minified versions in your project. And if you are using your own file that you are working on, use the regular version, and when you are done, convert them into minified version and then link to minified versions. That's it for this video. I hope it was useful and I hope you liked it. If I missed anything or you have something to add, you can comment down below. Ask questions related to this topic. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to this channel and hit bell icon to receive updates. Join us on social media. Links are in the description below. Stay tuned for more updates. I will see you in the next video.